Hello, Vlogalogue! Have you ever noticed that everybody in the collab has a very specific way of saying that name? I would assume that because they're from the same vague regional area, that Kevin and DK would say it the same, but if you go back and watch everybody's video, everyone has a slight variation on where they put the... It's very interesting. And you guys probably have one too, but you don't talk to me, so I don't get to hear you talk about my collab. I'd just like to start by saying, I find this topic of conversation really weird. Like, I make a lot of videos, like, talking about YouTube and being a YouTuber and blah blah blah. And Kevin's done it a lot too. But in case you guys didn't know, the only reason that me and Kevin know each other is because Kevin made a video about YouTube and I responded. So I find it weird that the topic of conversation that eventually made us all friends in a group is the topic that we're talking about now in the collab that we formed together. I find that really, I don't know, I just think it's cool. And I suppose that nicely, like, segues, nearly went out of frame there. That would have been awkward if I segued and then just continued the vlog without looking at the viewfinder and then realised in editing that... Anyway. Right, yeah, that segues us nicely into, like, talking about community on YouTube, and to be honest, it's the only reason I'm still here. And I know that when people say the YouTube community, they mean a huge thing that isn't like one big area or one big group, and it's very difficult to work out, you know, who's in what, and, you know, people can be part of various different communities. My point is, I don't want to gloss over the fact that communities are very complicated things, and they get even more complicated when you're talking about online communities, but I'm just going to use that term now to make my life easier, and the time that you waste watching this video shorter too. I mean, as I said in my first video for this channel, and probably like 100 other places too, I only started YouTube because I was bored. I was literally like, let's try it. You're not doing anything else with your time. I had this freedom because I was a student and I had a job and, like, I had all the money and time that I needed, and money made it easier to have more time, and more time made it more easy to have money, and it was a nice cycle. So I could easily, you know, piss away hours and hours on the computer and spend all my money on lights that break, because I'm too cheap to buy an expensive one, and then it breaks anyway, and then I end up having to use an upside down desk lamp as a light, and it looks awful. But now, I find it more and more difficult to put an objective standard on exactly what I'm getting from YouTube and, you know, what it's taking, because I am in a difficult financial situation, I believe is the delicate way of saying it. In England, we'd just say I'm fucking broke, but I don't know how you Yanks say it. So YouTube is becoming a time drain that is slowly I can't afford, but I also want to be on this platform and be doing this. But I have so many channels and things going on that it's just all very overwhelming, and YouTube's starting to feel more like a job that I suck at than a hobby. And Kevin, I think you went through something similar when you were like, I could actually do this for a thing. And then you wanted to make stuff that was good, and then you wanted it to be a thing, and blah, 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 blah. And the lighting's gone weird. I'd like to say that I have a future on YouTube, but I can't prove it. I mean, I can't see myself still doing YouTube 6 months from now, and that's a miserable thought. It's a very one-way street, I guess is what I'm saying. I put all this effort and time into YouTube, and in return it hits me in the face repeatedly, very hard, over and over again, until I cry, scream, run away and hide in the corner. And I suppose this sort of slides nicely into the things I don't like about YouTube. For example, the people who are popular on it. And this is where we get into tricky territory, because at no point do I want to say that objectively my opinion is correct, or that this is valued over this, but YouTube does the thing where the popular, easily digestible, quite frankly shit gets rammed in everybody's faces and nothing else happens. My two annoyances, my two very annoyances, are PewDiePie, perfectly amusing channel, if you're into that sort of thing. However, as gaming channels go, probably a waste of your time. But that's my opinion. But regardless if it's my opinion or not, there was an email sent round, when was it? Last year sometime, and it said, have you heard of PewDiePie? Everyone on YouTube has heard of PewDiePie. If you have a YouTube account, you have heard of PewDiePie. At this point, he had 17 million subscribers, and they're sending around emails like, oh, have you heard of PewDiePie? He's this really underground hipstery thing that had one viral video and they're a great production company. No, everyone had heard of PewDiePie, but they just rammed it in your face again. This is what I can't stand. Like what you like and put whatever shit you want on the internet. I mean, Marcus fucking Butler makes his living off YouTube, probably, I don't know. But my point being, his content is just awful. But that's my opinion. And if a bunch of teenage girls want to watch it, good for them. But you know what I don't need? Marcus Butler fucking everywhere on my YouTube. Because I'm 21, I'm male, and I have avoided clicking on anything Marcus Butler related ever. None of his like group of people I am subscribed to, so why, in God's name, do you keep ramming Marcus Butler in my face? This is not the right action you want to be doing, and I didn't mean it like that. But this is what I mean. Right then, I was annoyed, yeah? And it's a platform that you're meant to use for entertainment purposes that I'm getting annoyed about. In summing up, I suppose, and this has been a ramble, but then that is my Vlogalogue video. I ramble and then I hate myself in post-production as I try and edit it into something vaguely understandable. The only reason that I'm still on YouTube is because of the community and the people, and like if 5 people still watch all of my videos and as if they commented and I felt some kind of connection to them, I would still make the videos. But then on the other hand, I'm fed up of just being constantly abused by YouTube. It's not fair, I guess is what I'm saying. And I'm not talking it's not fair in that sort of income inequality kind of way where, it's not fair, how come such and such has more subscribers than me? It's not fair in the way that you don't seem to care, but you've got us. That's the worst thing. You know you've got us, so you don't have to pretend to care. You can shaft us as much as you like, because we ain't going anywhere, because there's nowhere else to go. It's like if there was only one pub in your entire town, and there was a guy outside who punched you in the face every time you went in there. But you still want to go to the pub with your mates, so you just take the punch in the face every time, just to go get a couple of pints with the guys after work. But you can't do that forever, because eventually your skull gets smushed from the repeated hitting. Actually, no, that's not true. Your skull gets harder the more you hit yourself. There are monks that train their bodies to have harder skulls so they don't get concussions as easily by hitting themselves in the forehead for like 10-20 minutes every morning. That seems like a good note to go out on. So, goodbye, Vlogalogue.